Hello and welcome to Monday Night Live, aka the Hangout Stream, aka the Chill Stream, baby, for September 19th, 2022, and brought to you, yes, you looking at me, looking at you, looking at me, by yours truly, the man, broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am. Because if you don't know by now, well, shit. You can visit www.livefreeliverich.com or simply Google this name and you can find out. Now, for the rest of you who already know, welcome to the show. Go ahead, drop me a comment, say hello. No need to be shy. Just like to know who took the time to stop by. And it looks like we already got someone that stopped by. Alpha Keys TV. Alpha Keys TV. I see you. Now, take that a little step further. I just want to say a few things about comments. Moving forward, I'm going to be handling comments a little bit differently. I ask you to drop a comment down below, especially if you're watching this on the replay. You are incentivized to do so because I don't ask you to leave a comment because I expect you to satisfy an algorithm or an AI that couldn't care less about your existence because it's not even alive. It's just code. And quite frankly, I don't even really know how all that works. But I ask you to leave a comment because I personally would find it satisfying to see what you guys have to say about any subject or topic talked about across or in any of the videos across this whole channel. Basically what I'm going to do moving forward, instead of responding directly, because the channel's not big enough to the point where it would be impossible for me to keep up with each and every single comment. So what I'm going to do until, if it ever gets to a point where I just can't keep up anymore, but what I'm going to do from here on out, instead of responding to your comments directly in the comment section, I'm going to hold off until I have a chance to address your comments during a live stream, like address your comments directly live on the air. Yes, I will be adding a new segment to the show that I'm going to call Your Comments Matter. So basically, if you're going to, the way that I look at it is that if you're going to take the time to leave a thoughtful comment on any of my videos, then I don't want you to feel as though, I don't want you to feel as though you're essentially wasting your energy or wasting your effort. I know that sometimes it can be difficult for creators to keep up with everyone's comments, which is why it's a benefit to interact with smaller channels that don't get a lot of activity or engagement, because I do have the ability to keep up with all the comments across all the videos, because I don't have so much content on my channel yet, and I'm not inundated with comments on a daily basis. So until that day happens, what I'm going to do is each and every single time I do get a comment, I'm just going to pull it up during a live stream and I'm going to address your comment on air. So you're going to see my reaction or impression or get my feedback as close to being in person as possible. In other words, hearing it from my mouth, from the horse's mouth, if you will, opposed to me just giving you a text reply. And I think that's how I'm going to do comments from here on out. And I think that it could get interesting. Try to incentivize you guys to become engaged, because that is one of the primary reasons why I'm doing this, is to boost engagement. It's not about boosting numbers as much as it's encouraging engagement. I want you guys to be proactive. So for those of you, who don't know, because perhaps you're new, that's okay too, because I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you. You see, as far as I'm concerned, I'm here to fill the role of producer. So I come on here 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 6 p.m. Pacific, every Monday night, and I boot up this live stream so we all can come together, readers and writers alike. That also includes creators too. And you guys supply me with things to talk about. And in return, I fulfill my role and I raise awareness for various projects from around the underground scene. It gives me a chance to become acquainted with you. You get to know me. And together, we discover what's going down within the realm of independent publishing. Which brings me right into my first segment of the night, where I like to shine a spotlight on some books that are currently available or coming soon to an online store near you. It's coming in hot from Twitter. We have Kelly Miller. She says, "Thanks, Jonathan. Accusing Mr. Darcy, a multi-award winning Pride and Prejudice, Regency romance and mystery. Does Mr. Darcy have a dark, sinister secret?" And a little quote at the bottom says, "I devoured the story and was sorry when it ended." I'm assuming that's coming from this cute little pooch right here that has his or her snout stuck inside said book. Let's check it out. This is Accusing Mr. Darcy, a Pride and Prejudice variation by Kelly Miller. I never read Pride and Prejudice. Hey, Rainer. All right, Accusing Mr. Darcy. See what we have here. Could Fitzwilliam Darcy harbor a shocking, sinister secret? Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet count themselves among the many guests of the Kendall family, whose estate lies amidst the picturesque hills, gorges, and rocky slopes of the Peak District in Derbyshire. Elizabeth's cousin, Rose Kendall, believes her dashing brother-in-law, Captain James Kendall, is Elizabeth's ideal match. Rose's husband, Nicholas, hopes his good friend Darcy, a rich, proud, and taciturn gentleman with a spotless reputation, will fancy one of the other eligible lady guests. News of a brutal killing at a neighboring estate sends a wave of shock through the genial group of friends and family. When one of the Kendall's guests is attacked, all of the gentlemen become suspects. But the former Bow Street runner tasked with investigating the crime finds the evidence against Mr. Darcy particularly compelling. In this romantic mystery, the beloved couple from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice cross paths with a ruthless killer. When faced with dire warnings against Mr. Darcy, will Elizabeth heed them or follow the dictates of her heart. 362 pages. And that is Accusing Mr. Darcy, a Pride and Prejudice variation by Kelly Miller. How you doing tonight, Rainer? All right, let's see what else we got going on here. If you guys have a book on the market, the queue is pretty long for the wait for mentions. But if you have a book on the market, that's all I really need is the title and the pen name of the author. But I do writers' lifts like 3 times a week on Twitter. You can get in on that or join the Discord and just share a link with me. Either way, just share a link and I will add you to the queue. What would be even better is if you guys can stop by during a live stream, because if I have you in the chat while I'm mentioning your book, then you always have the option to talk about your own book a little bit more, add any additional information that you may want people to know about the book, anything like that. We could have a back and forth, if you will. Busy, huh? Okay, let's see who we got. From Khalil H. Says, thanks again for the shout out / live read. Here's my Amazon book page. Please also share all 5 titles. The Book of Khalil collection looks like poetry collections. Poems, volume 1 and 2, Yin and Yang, Scorpio Season, and GMST. Well, I did pick one for this live stream to cover that I found that I picked out of that. I picked Yin and Yang by Khalil the Writer, as he is known. All right, Yin and Yang by Khalil the Writer. Blurb says, Yin and Yang explores duality and the concept of keeping contradictory values balanced, particularly light and dark. Khalil the Writer dives into light and dark with various poems of love, loss, isolation, sex, writing, ambitions, and more. Similar to the Book of Khalil, each poem is unique and raw, vibrant, free-form style, while also allowing readers to deem each poem as yin, yang, or both. 56 pages in this poetry collection. I'm fascinated by duality. May I ask, Rainer, do you believe that we exist as a singular? We exist in a singularity, or do you believe in duality? I know it's kind of a loaded question. I really don't know what kind of answer I expect from that, but but I personally, I think that there is a duality to pretty much, there's like a natural duality to everything in this existence, I would say. I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is I don't believe that we're all one, or there's like a oneness to everything. Even though I do find that topic quite compelling when people say that everything originates from a oneness in the universe, or just in reality, or however you want to slice it. But I would argue that the existence of duality makes a lot more sense, at least in principle, than singularity does. All right, let's see what else we got here. From Verdonk, Raphael. I don't know what that Verdonk. Oh, maybe that's a pen name. I got Raphael Morwood on here. We'll say Raphael. The Morwood Library. It's a pretty cool looking cover on there. This is All for the People by Raphael Morwood. All right, All for the People by Raphael Morwood. What do we have on the blurb? This is the new revised 3rd edition. When strange signals from a long-forgotten planet are detected, a ship is sent to investigate. There is little doubt it heralds a new attack from an old enemy. But can the Alliance withstand this new conflict, or will it be its downfall? An epic tale spanning more than 4.5 centuries about humanity's struggle for equality and survival. 575 pages. And this one, oh yeah, I remember this book. This is interesting to me because somebody put down here, this is a basic customer review, mind you, on Amazon. This book has a 5-star review on Amazon. However, the 5-star review is negging the book. It's a 5-star rated review, but it says, don't bother. Awful. No paragraphs. Terrible spelling. Bad grammar. Misused words. Don't bother to download this one. It did have a good storyline, just poorly done. Yikes. Perhaps that was an earlier edition. It did specifically say right at the top of the blurb that this is the new revised 3rd edition. So perhaps that review is no longer relevant. And that's one thing about some of these reviews too. Let me take this off. I'm not even going to say any more about it, actually. I'll save that I'll save that topic for another time. Let's just keep it moving, huh? Never know what you're going to get on the live stream, folks. And that's the way I like it. See, I never know what I'm going to get, I should say. I just put the call out there and I say, hey, guys, you want your book mentioned during a live broadcast? Hit me up. Interact with me. Engage with me. Meet me halfway. Step up. Stand behind your product and share a link with me. And I'll mention it during a live stream. This isn't to say that I'm going to be praising it or promoting it, telling people to buy the book, but more or less just kind of raising awareness for these books to say, hey, guys, these are the type of books that are out there on the market. You know, what do you guys think? That's what I like to know. I'm here for the engagement. I'm here for the interaction. So, but the exciting thing for me is never knowing what it is that I'm going to get. I'm open. There's no prejudice here. I'm literally open to anything. These are suggestions that come directly from the authors themselves. And then I turn around and share them on here. So it's like, for me, that's part of the entertainment is not knowing what I'm going to be getting myself into with some of these books. All right, let's see what we got. This one comes from Aline Riva. Let me see. Yeah, Aline Riva. Book 1, free the 22nd through the 26th of June. Well, we're way past that, but this must have been before I started doing my deals thing. But anyways, Kings of Z. We're going to do a shout out. Amazon, hot new release, listed series. And your adventure starts here. Let's see. I have you actually. I don't know what that was in regard to, but I'll have you know, Rainer. I know you. It was a while ago when you shared a link. It was an excerpt from a novel, the new novel that you're working on. Was it the Poison City one? I forget. Hold on. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, the Poison City. That's right. I'm going to be. That one is coming up. Not next week. Actually, let me check this one. See how long it is. Yeah, not next week's stream, but the Monday following that, I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be reading that link reading from that link that you shared for me, the Royal Roads link. So, be prepared for that. Should be exciting stuff. And if you're there, I wanted to give you the heads up anyways that I'll be doing that because I know that you usually are able to make these streams. So I'll give you the heads up. So if you are there, it'd be cool to have you during the stream, and then you can we can have a little bit of a back and forth, if you will. And you can talk about your work, whether it be about the writing process behind the work. I may have some questions for you. So if I'm reading through the work, then some things may come to mind and I may ask you, some questions while I'm reading. Might put you in the hot seat a little bit, but if you're game, if you're willing to be a good sport about it, then I think that could be pretty fun. All right. All right, let's check out, let's get into the final book for tonight is Kings of Z, Rise by Aline Riva. All right. When a virus makes the dead walk, the world is thrust into chaos. It is the beginning of dark times where only the strong will survive and some will even flourish and rise to power. Agent Terry Carter was on a mission to enter the city before the world was taken by the dead, with one last chance to reclaim it using secret time manipulating tech. But its function was far from perfect, and when the base is overrun and the power is fading out, Terry's wife, Grace, can only escape through the time gate, landing herself and their daughter in a city of the dead in search of her husband. That was a very long sentence. Now trapped in what is formerly known as a dead zone, the Carters travel to a settlement, trying to seek shelter in a world where the living dead are not only the threat to survival. Oh, hold on. Damn. Now trapped in what is formerly known as a dead zone, the Carters travel to a settlement, trying to seek shelter in a world where the living dead are not the only threat to survival. The only option is to try and reach the second time device, if it still works. But this means gathering a team to cut through a city of the dead. This is a world where few survive and a select few will rise to power. The government agent, a jewel thief, a career criminal, a scientist, and a stage magician who has suffered the curse of becoming the world's first cyborg, all destined to rise to power in a world where all will fall unless time can be manipulated again. As with the odds against them, all will struggle to survive in a world owned by the dead. This is the first in a 4-book series, Kings of Z, written by Aline Riva. 227 pages of post-apocalyptic science fiction and British horror. That is a category on Amazon. Chip, chip, cheerio. That's the books for this week. You guys are going to let me know which one out of those 4 books do you think had the most text appeal. I'll be posting the poll after the stream, shortly after the stream, and you can find that in the community section of the YouTube channel. Now let's move on to a little bit of news. I'm going to make some announcements, talk about some special projects, and perhaps some events. And if you guys have anything like that, I would say the people who could take advantage of this the most would be those of you who have Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaigns, any kind of crowdfunding campaigns. I like talking about that stuff. That's all I need is for you guys to share a link to those campaigns, get in touch with me on any of my social medias and interact with my posts. Just engage with me. That's all I ask, is for you to engage with me on social media, and I'll be more than happy to talk about your campaigns live on the air and see if I can't generate a little bit more excitement, if you will, surrounding your campaign in my own way. I think it would be satisfying just for myself to be able to talk about that type of stuff. I am interested in it. I'm also trying to think of, like, maybe there could be some ways to utilize crowdfunding for future projects, my own future projects, in some shape, fashion, or form. I'm keeping in mind. Basically, I'm watching a lot of people, specifically those I see that the comic book realm of YouTube, and there's a lot of people who create comic books, and they're having a lot of success with crowdfunding campaigns. And I am beginning to see how some literary folks too, like, for instance, one idea is to use crowdfunding to use crowdfunding to basically put together a magazine, a literary magazine of some sort. That could be an idea down the road. Like, say you have a crowdfunding goal and you say, okay, I'm going to put together this magazine, and I got to be able to have enough money to pay artists. I got to pay writers, and basically to be able to put together and curate this magazine where I would be more like the lead editor, if you will, in terms of putting it all together and kind of directing everybody that may be involved in a magazine. But this could be something down the line. And then, say, whoever backs the crowdfunding, there could be a thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to have, I would have it all laid out ahead of time, where I say, okay, there's going to be X amount of issues that are going to be released of this particular magazine. And there could be interviews in the magazine, there could be, or spotlight articles, there could be stories in the magazine, there could be comics in the magazine. So like an indie, what I'm thinking is like a indie, just a general purpose, like indie magazine, if you will, for indie publishing. But it would have to be, I'd have to think of like some sort of theme for it, though, so it's be like appealing, not just like some generic, like, this is the literary magazine. That's not very exciting to talk about. I don't think that a lot of people would, get excited about that, except people that are within the niche. So it'd have to have some sort of theme to it. I don't know, maybe like I don't know what kind of theme. It would have to be niche in some shape, fashion, or form. But I don't want it to be so niche, because the thing about indie is, if you get too niche with indie, then you're dealing with a very, very, very small audience. Like, say if it's just indie horror, well, there's a decent amount of people that would be involved in indie horror, but I wouldn't want it to just be about that subsect of the indie scene. Like, I want to include more people. Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I would not even, basically what I'm saying is, I wouldn't even waste my time to try to do like a Kickstarter or Indiegogo right now. Not with the type of engagement that I'm getting right now, at least through my YouTube channel or in social media in general. The numbers are quite abysmal as far as that goes. I don't know if I'm stuck in a void somewhere or what, but I definitely would like to see way more engagement before I even think about trying to launch projects, any special type of projects like that, where it's going to require a lot of effort on my part. I would like to see more people get involved first. And then if people begin to show interest in the brand itself and all the different opportunities that I'm laying out. In other words, that's why I'm focusing more effort in collaborating. What are you saying? What do you mean? So which way? Like I'm focusing more of my, if you've noticed, I'm focusing a lot more of my effort on collaboration with other artists, other writers, and other creators, because I think that collaboration creates opportunity. Through that collaboration, it builds opportunity. So let me just get into some of the news. So speaking of collaborations, hold on. What are you saying? Indie horror, indie smut. I don't know. That's a tough question. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll just plead the fifth, huh? Let me get into the. So speaking of collaborations, collaborations, I played a role in the latest Doorway to Nightmare episode that did premiere this past Friday. That episode, the Toy Maker, that is on the Doorway to Nightmare YouTube channel. I will have a link to their channel in description. And you can see what happens when a classic toy maker is put between a rock and a hard place, and desperate times call for desperate measures. Doorway to Nightmare is a full production audio form of storytelling, written and directed by Winslow Swan and edited by his friend Crimson McKenzie. And I think that they're doing a good job at bringing something a little bit different to the, I don't know. I don't know if I would call them Authortube, basically just storytelling. And there's a lot of different storytelling channels out there, and I have discovered quite a few through my involvement with Doorway to Nightmare. So one door leads to another, I guess, in that regard. But if you guys want to check that out, link down in the description below. If you guys think old-timey storytelling, like how they used to have on the AM radio with like ambient theme music and sound effects and live voice actors. So another way that you can share your links with me is to get involved in the Discord. Yes, anything on the Discord. So these are all the different ways that I am trying to make it very easy for you guys to, connect with me. And maybe we can start networking together, and then we build up a synergy and try to get, raise awareness for each other's efforts. And then we can start working on some of these bigger projects, like I was just talking about. So your links, this could be, I'm looking for, if you want to share your books with me, you can share your book links to your blog, which I do think that if you are a creator in this day and age, you should start considering making your own website and owning your own domain name. Back in the day, before social media, it wasn't uncommon for there to be bloggers and people running blogs and writing articles on their own individual blogs. And then people would do what they call backlinking. So it's like you would have, like if you went and you wanted to collaborate with someone, what you would do is you would do like a guest post or something like that on their blog. And then you are basically writing some content or coming up with some material that they can publish on their blog, but it backlinks to your own website or what have you. So basically what that does, for those of you who are unfamiliar with SEO and how search engines work, basically what that does is it adds some authenticity to your website, and it makes it so search engines search engines have like page ranks for websites, like on the back end. So basically, the more, like when you have like legitimate like backlinks and stuff like that to your website, and that's why I say content is king. It's not just about, because there are people out there, there's called black hat SEO, where basically people will use like these stupid AI text generators, and they come up with these bunk articles that basically don't say anything at all. It's just garbage. It's basically just word salad, but it's just filled with like a crap ton of like keywords and stuff like that, like searchable keywords. And people post that on websites, and it basically, I think like Google has like certain things in play now. I don't know, they had like what they used to call the Panda system or something like that back in the day. I'm not on the up and up, to be honest with you, because I really don't care about that crap anymore. I just post what I want to post and do things that way. But I do think that if you are a writer or creator, especially if you're a writer or an artist, and you do like commissions or anything like that, and you're going to be doing collaborations, to try to don't lean so heavily on social media, especially when they can just turn off your account just like that. Like for whatever reason, it seems like it's becoming more and more political these days. So, protect your assets in that sense. But in terms of collaborations, the Storytellers Society is still accepting submissions, looking for flash fiction anywhere between 500 to 2,000 words. It's a non-exclusive, so there's no contracts involved. It's basically just a user agreement that you guys are giving me permission to publish your story on my blog. But in doing so, we can kind of build a peer-to-peer relationship, business-to-business, professional relationship, if you will. In that way, one writer to another, one creator to another, and you help me help you, and I handle all the marketing as far as that goes. And this is just the first phase of this project. I would like to actually, this is what I was talking about earlier, like I would like to launch. Here's the thing. I am an entrepreneur. I do have that entrepreneurial mindset where it's got to be worth it for me. Like I do my own writing and I publish my own writing, and I do have my own writing for sale on Amazon. But what I do is, like, in terms of some of these bigger projects that I'd like to get involved with, I'd like to have a little bit more. I'd like to have like a little bit more of an awareness in the marketplace, like more people know about the existence of this brand, so that I can basically build up a little bit of brand recognition before I move on to bigger and what I would say are more expensive investments in terms of my time, energy, effort, and money, as far as that goes. But I do have plenty of ideas in the works, and I do have plenty of projects that could be in the pipeline. But it's all about the timing. The timing has to be right for me before I start doing any of these things. So another way that you can get involved with the Live Free, Live Rich network is if you guys want to submit a piece of art. So this goes out to my illustrators and graphic designers out there. If you guys would like to, link in the description, you can submit an original piece of art to be used as the thumbnail for Monday Night Live. I have received feedback about my thumbnail on numerous occasions about how my thumbnail game be lacking, yo. Which is fine with me. That's not a good use of my time, in my opinion. I do enough with these live streams, as far as I'm concerned. I do enough with these live streams for you guys in terms of raising awareness for your books. You know, I'm trying to engage with you guys. So when I see that there's more attention, once I see that I'm getting more attention out there and more people take a proactive approach and become more engaged with what it is that I have going on here and kind of get with the program in that regard, then, you know, I might reconsider, you know, how I spend my time and how much of my time I'm investing into this. But as of right now, this is just a fun little side project that I'm doing, you know, just for fun, really. Try to generate some, and also try to connect with my peers. So if you want to submit a piece of art, what I'm saying as far as this goes, it doesn't have to, it can be anything, any theme you want to do. It could be steampunk, cyberpunk. If you want to make it horror themed, like say, for instance, Halloween is right around the corner. So if you guys want to do like a horror themed thumbnail, that's fine. But really, I'm going to I'll reuse the thumbnail. And each and every single time that I use your thumbnail, I will give you credit in the description. I will also give you credit during the stream. And you may also include one external link. So if you have your own website, this could be an external link to you know, if you do like an Etsy shop where you sell your original artwork, it could be a link to that. Or if you just want to share your link tree with me, it could be a one-stop shop, and I'll share your link tree in the description, as well as giving you credit. And I will use your art in each and every single thumbnail moving forward for the Monday Night Live. Now, if I get multiple entries to this, what I'll do is I'll just cycle through them. So the early bird gets the worm as far as this goes. So if you want to submit an original piece of artwork, I encourage you to do so sooner rather than later. And if you're the first person, and if you're the only, and so long as you're the only person, then I'm going to be using your artwork for the thumbnail indefinitely until I get other submissions as far as that goes. So see, all these different opportunities, various opportunities to get involved with the Live Free, Live Rich network. And it's not just about boosting my numbers, because I've said this multiple times. I would actually like to see more people doing what it is that I'm doing, because as I've said before, the indie scene is an all hands on deck effort as far as marketing goes. The indie scene is not Hollywood. It doesn't work like that. It's very much a peer-to-peer, community-based type of thing, the underground scene. What else? Sure. Let's talk about this just for a second. Another opportunity for you guys to get involved with the Live Free, Live Rich network is to become my guest co-host. Yes, you can become a guest co-host. I don't do interviews. I'm not interested in doing author interviews. This is the hangout stream. This is the chill stream. However, not ragging on it. It's just not my style. So what I'm proposing is that you come on here, link in the description, email me, make first contact. Just go ahead, just shoot me an email. Just say, hey, I'm interested in being a guest co-host. Okay. And then you're sharing a website, your social media with me, and I can look you up and make sure that it's legit and it's not I'm not getting spammed by a bot or anything like that. And then I'll put you on the schedule, what works for you, what works for me as far as Mondays go, because you know what time the show is. And I'll bring you on, and it'll be very casual. well, you just come on here. You'll co-host a show with me. You'll be a featured guest, however. So you will have your own special titled show or stream. Your name in the title. I'll bring you on. It'll be kind of an icebreaker for me in that regard, because I could be dealing with strangers here, but that doesn't deter me. I'm not afraid to interact with strangers on the internet. I mean, it's just the internet here we're talking about. So you can come on, you'll co-host a show with me, and we'll just have, like, kind of an organic conversation as we do a show. And I think that it would be interesting to have, people that have varying, perspectives and opinions. I'm not opposed to having people that, might have, I don't know, I guess varying, like, opinion, may be known for having opinions that I don't necessarily align with, I guess, if I put it that way. I don't know. My days of being like political and all that online are pretty much done. Like, I really don't care about politics, to be quite frank with you. I think pretty much all online politics is just LARPing for the most part, which is why I don't care. I'm more focused. My effort, I feel like these days, is more focused on being proactive and being productive in terms of this whole thing, which is why I want to build this brand up in such a way where it's opportunities for those that, for the most part, that I feel like are being used by social media companies, technocrats, and whatnot. And I want us to start thinking, stop working harder and start working smarter in terms of marketing, advertising. Stop coming from a scarcity mindset where you think that you're in competition, because I'll have you know that everybody who thinks that, you should be taking this from a standpoint that other creators are your competitors are doing it wrong. I'll have you know right now, I don't think any of you are my competition. And I don't mean that to like sound cocky or anything like that. Like, quite the contrary. What I mean is, the only person that I'm in competition with is myself, quite frankly. So I don't look at it like that. I just look at it like, are you creating something cool? All right, you can come on and you'll have a chance to talk about that. And that's what that's all about. So now, let me get into something else. This stream's going to be a little bit longer. So now I may be extending the stream. I've noticed I usually try to aim for 1 hour, but now if I start getting to a groove, I'm just going to run the stream. I'm just going to let it run however long. I'll still try to keep it around 2 hours though. I feel like the longer the stream goes, the less likely people are to maybe click on it after the fact for the replay. So I'll still try to keep it around 2 hours. But I have a question for you guys. My question for you guys this week, I want to know, is trad pub obsolete? Yes, trad pub. Is trad pub obsolete? This is hot topic for content creators. This is where a segment of the Monday night live stream where I pitch a hot topic to you guys, and then you guys either turn around and leave a comment about what you know, and then I will be responding to those comments during a future live show, or you can go ahead and create some content of your own. So use this as inspiration to create your own hot topic content. And if you tag me in your video, then I will feature your video during a future broadcast. If you could keep the video under 10 minutes or around 10 minutes, that's even better. But nevertheless, if you tag me in the video, then I may respond to it at least to some degree in a future live stream. So the topic for this week, and mind you, there's no time limit on these hot topics. I'm going to be posting, I clip all these hot topic videos and I'll put them in a playlist all on their own. So anytime, so say for instance, if you want an idea of something that you could produce a video about, you can visit that playlist and check out all my previous hot topics. And if you want to leave a comment, like I say, there's no time limit. So I will revisit any of those topics at any point in time from here moving forward. Especially if it's something new, if you're bringing something new to the table that hasn't been addressed before, I think that would be interesting, because a lot of these are kind of like evergreen or pertinent to the time in which we're living. So this one is trad pub, traditional publishing, obsolete? This is a genuine question that I'm proposing. I want to know. This isn't just me with my bias. I'm going to hold my opinions off until you guys have had a chance to toss in your 2 cents on this subject. So I want to know, is it obsolete? This isn't to say non-existent. Obviously, trad publishing still exists to this day, and I will say that I don't think that it's going to go away anytime soon. Definitely downsizing, definitely reorganizing, definitely kind of changing up their business practices, and we may get into that a little bit. But I want you to answer why you think it's obsolete, or why not you may think that it's obsolete. If you think it is, you could come at it from a bunch of different reasons. You could talk about the rise of independent publishing and how we have more tools and we have more resources. The individual has more tools and resources available to them to kind of make independent publishing, self-publishing a lot easier in this day and age than ever before. You could also, if it's a why not type of deal, which is what I would be interested in knowing, why you think it's not obsolete, well, then tell me why it is not obsolete. And don't just say money in the form of some cash advance, that may or may not have to be paid back if your book doesn't sell, because I'll tell you right now, that does not sell me on the subject as far as that goes. Money is not an issue in that regard, because self-pub and indie pub, you can self-pub a book for very cheap. And a lot of people who want to make you think otherwise, that's a whole nother topic. Let's just put it that way. So I want to know, if you say why it's not obsolete, why the traditional publishing route is not obsolete, tell me why. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of me signing on the dotted line for a traditional publishing deal in this day and age, with indie publishing being so easy? What is the purpose of the traditional publishing company? What is the reason why I would want to do so? Like, what benefit do I get as the writer for signing the dotted line and sharing my royalties with a company? What is it that they're going to be providing me that I wouldn't be able to do on my own, or that I would not have to do on my own as an indie writer? So I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about that one. All right. Moving into the final segment for tonight. Normally what we would have is some videos, featured videos. I'm not getting any videos. You guys, you want to share links? Share your links. I know you guys are out there. I watch your YouTube channels. And you guys, I know that you're aware of this live stream. So just share your links to your poetry readings, if you do video essays, if you do web series, if you do any kind of like reading, like storytellings. If you do like stand-up comedy, bit skits and sketches or anything like that, you can share your videos. Also, if you do like book reviews or anything like that, it could be a Booktube channel as well, or tag videos, or anytime you may be reviewing my work. And if you tag me in the video, then I can see, be aware of it. Then I may feature that on there, even if you're roasting me in the video. I'm fine with that. And we can find out as far as that goes. But for tonight, we're going to be moving into reading time. So reading time, this could be if you would like to get your own blog promoted, then you could share an article that you've written, an essay that you've written, a book review that you've written, like an editorial, for instance, like an opinion piece. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about an indie book. It could be an opinion piece about a traditionally published book, or flash fiction or poetry. And I'll read that live on the air. So tonight, what we have is an excerpt. It says, well, go buy some of the crusty punk palaces in West Berkeley and see if you can't scrape her off the floor. Crazy punks at a big city dive. An excerpt from my new 2-book series, a duology, if you will, The Rise and Fall of Sky Wright. Check it out. And this comes to me courtesy of Jeffrey Vernon Matusha. I believe I'm pronouncing that properly. He has been on the live stream before in terms of sharing, reading an excerpt from a different excerpt from another one of his books. And it comes from his blog, needlepictures.com/TBD. Not sure if that's a third-party website, but nevertheless. I like stories about punks. And I also like punk music. So this is The Rise and Fall of Sky Wright. Share screen. What do we got here? Yes. The website, Terminal Berkeley Denizen, the Journal of Jeffrey Vernon Matusha. So the Mississippi Lounge, novel excerpt from The Rise and Fall of Sky Wright. This is an excerpt from my new 2-book series, The Rise and Fall of Sky Wright. This excerpt is from the first book. Sky and her friends hang out at a popular watering hole in West Berkeley, talking about their current lives, their love lives, and their artistic pursuits. This work is the continuation of the Sky Wright saga and follows her adventures from her previous novel, Stella Maris, which is a sequel to What the Hell Ever Happened to Yuri Rizenko. Both available on Amazon. You can buy this series here. Of course, the link to this will be in the description down below. They found Colleen sitting in a corner of the Mississippi Lounge's beer garden, her hatless head revealing her very stylized short red hair. Sky could tell the glasses on her wry pixie face were new frames, and if she did not mention her new glasses, no doubt Colleen would. Harp ran off to try out the new food stand in the back as Sky sat down. Nice to see you again, Sky, said Colleen as she held up her multicolored cocktail. It's been a while. You don't come here too often anymore. That's what happens when you sober up. Harp came around the table, putting down a pint of beer before running back and retrieving a Mexican Coke for Sky and a basket of food. "These are vegan onion rings," announced Harp. Colleen looked at the basket. "Vegan? How the fuck can onion rings not be vegan?" "I haven't tried the new kitchen here." "Who's running that place?" asked Sky. "It was either a 30-year-old lesbian or a 16-year-old boy. I can't be sure." Harp looked at Sky's bottle of Coke and then looked down into her drink. "Jesus, Sky, you're going to have to drag us old hags home. Don't hit the sauce so fucking hard," sneered Sky with a grin. "Fuck me," sighed Harp. "I don't know how much longer I can deal with this shit." "What's up? Your job?" "I think they're going to fire me," said Harp as he kept looking down into her drink. "I thought you were one of their best hustlers." "I am," exasperated Harp. "They have some bullshit problem with my image." "Yeah, you mentioned that." Colleen leaned towards Sky. "Your job is still going pretty good, though, right?" "Hell yeah. I get to jam sometimes and get paid for it." Colleen started... We'll leave that on there. Colleen started asking Harp about her workplace problems as Sky leaned back with her bottle of cola. She looked around at the young hipsters. Most of them looked like college students, but she knew some of the rougher-looking ones were working-class young people. There was a wide variety of secondhand clothes and band t-shirts around the place. There were a few punks and a stray goth gang in one corner of the beer garden, but most of the people there were the younger crowd who looked as if they were definitely steeped in the urban scenes, yet most of them did not seem to be firmly invested in one genre. She saw dreadlocks. She saw punk shirts. She saw Doc Marten boots and Vans sneakers. She spied derby jackets and chain wallets, Converse high tops and dyed black hair and leather bracelets. And there were tattoos on just about everyone in the place. Arm tattoos, hand tattoos, neck tattoos, and even a few with small face tattoos. Her eyes glazed over when she saw their one common denominator. Everyone in the place was drinking. Almost all of them were holding on to pint glasses, some of them with pitchers of beer on their tables. A few people here and there were drinking from small glasses with clear brown liquor in them. Only a few had tall and colorful cocktails, such as Colleen's, but they were all drinking liquor. Sky turned and looked at her Coke bottle as she felt her heart drop. Is it that serious? "Have you heard of misogyny?" asked Colleen. "What?" asked Sky. "Patriarchal soup. Prejudiced tofu soup?" Colleen leaned on the table. "It's a piece a friend of mine is working on. She's trying to combine a punk show with an art show. Wouldn't that work better with an industrial show or a goth show?" Colleen held up her hands. "Hell, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, but also not the best idea either." Colleen pointed at Sky. "Whatever happened to that one friend of yours? The one with the eye patch?" "You mean Sheet? That crusty who sang for Broken Vibes?" "That's the one. You know where she is? I want to see if she's willing to put some of her paintings in danger for this thing." "Fuck if I know. I haven't seen her since, last year sometime. She was getting wasted at the Astroglide house." "What?" asked Harp. "Junk." "Junk?" "She was smoking opium." "Opium?" winced Colleen. What the hell? Is she inside a 40s detective novel or some shit? Oh yeah, this was the this was the author that had the character. The last time I read something from this author, they had a character that kept asking a bunch of stupid fucking questions all throughout the piece. Skye shrugged. Well, she was also drinking herself into a stupor, too. Colleen slumped onto the table. Damn, I was hoping to get her into that punk and art show. I thought you said that show was stupid, said Harp. Yeah, it definitely is kind of stupid. I still want to help them out, though. Skye leaned on the table. Well, go buy some of the crusty punk palaces in West Berkeley and see if you can't scrape her off the floor. Colleen waved her hands around with a look of disgust on her face. The last time I had to drag someone out of a drug den was for Rachel Pubes. Ew, winced Harp. What were you doing with that nightmare? Wait, who is Rachel Pubes again? Asked Skye. Pubes. Harp was still grimacing. She's that fucked up artist who uses things like body hair and vaginal discharge to make her pieces. She had that series of menstrual blood paintings. Ugh. Skye winced. Oh, God. Now I remember her now. What the fuck were you doing digging up that nightmare? Colleen held her hands in self-defense. Hey, she's a big draw. Her stuff may be disgusting, but she knows how to fill up an art show. Fuck me, groaned Skye as she looked around the beer garden. Is it just me, or are the people in here starting to look younger? You old, said Harp. Skye swatted Harp on the arm. You're almost as old as me. We old, said Harp. Colleen leaned towards Harp. There's a young tie-dye t-shirt who's been staring at you this whole time. Look like you're a full-course meal. Probably a MILF hunter, dismissed Harp. The older women thing? Asked Skye. I could never sleep with someone who wears tie-dye anyways. Colleen looked between Skye and Harp. Fuck me. I just realized that we're all single. What the fuck? Asked Skye. I thought you were going out with boot boy Jason. Colleen waved her hand dismissively. That ended a few weeks ago. Why? I don't know. We were never that serious. Besides, I think he has his eye on some young rude girl. Going for jailbait, snarked Harp as she held up her drink. They either want him old or young. Want him old or young? MILFs or jailbait, said Skye. Colleen looked at Skye through her drink. What about you? What about me? I had Boot Boy and Harp had Griff. Who was your last? Skye held up her Mexican Coke bottle as if it were a shield. Well, been a while? Asked Harp. No. Yeah, kinda. Now you know we're getting old. Skye put down her Coke bottle. My relationships never end well. They usually blow up, or one of us ends up ghosting the other. Harp shot Skye a look. You ghost people? Skye nodded. I ghosted Yuri, and he was like the coolest boyfriend I ever had. Yikes, said Harp. Anyone you got your eye on? Asked Colleen with a raised eyebrow. Skye sat back as if she were thinking about it. You ever wondered what it would be like to date a civilian? What? Like someone in tie-dye? Asked Harp. Nah, I mean, like, I've been hanging around a lot of college types, sort of like professional types. You've been hanging around German speakers, haven't you? Asked Colleen. Toby's been having people from the UC Berkeley German department over to the group. That's what happens when you sober up, said Harp. People who aren't total fuck-ups start to look good. Yeah, no shit, said Skye. Colleen screwed up her face. I tried going out with a civilian once. I mean, it was kind of nice having someone with like a real job and a nice house that didn't look like a crazy artist's studio or a drug den. So what was the drawback? Asked Harp as she sunk lower onto the table. Well, it can get to be a fucking drag trying to relate to someone who isn't in that loop, who isn't from one of your tribes. I mean, when it comes down to it, if a man doesn't have Bajas on vinyl, I can't really relate to them. Harp sat back and stretched her slim body. I never know if those are start flags or red flags. Both, said Skye. You know, when you see he's got William S. Burroughs on his bookshelf and he's obviously read it. Bajas on vinyl, said Sharp. Sings along to The Exploited, said Skye. Knows who Byron Jizen is, said Colleen. Skull tattoos, said Harp. Is a tattoo artist, said Skye. Oh, fuck me. I would love to go out with a tattoo artist. Free tats. Oh, my God. R.E. Search books, asked Skye. Oh, you mean Loaded Questions Quarterly? Yarked Harp. Has a DVD of a Guy Madden movie, said Colleen. Who? Puzzled Harp. A really cool filmmaker from Winnipeg, said Skye. Where the fuck is Winnipeg? You don't know where Winnipeg is? Asked Colleen. That's it, said Harp as she leaned back down on the table. You and Skye need to go out with each other now. The feeling this isn't so much like an excerpt from a novel as much as it is from like a screenplay. It's leaning very heavily on dialogue here. There's really not a lot of narration going on in this piece, I have to say. Which I'm not like totally against having dense like bouts and tangents of dialogue, but usually it serves some sort of purpose. I mean, are we building character here or what? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Is it too much dialogue going on here? Too much senseless dialogue? Or what? Is this filler, do you think? I'm not that desperate yet, said Colleen. Sorry, Colleen, said Skye. I don't butter my bread on that side. Well, if you really want some action, you could always hit on Harp's tie-dyed stalker. Hell no, never tie-dye. I'd eat my Doc Martens before I'd ever sleep with a tie-dye. Harp sat up straight in her chair and looked Skye right in the eye. So you are really thinking of going after a college professor? Skye shrugged. Maybe, who knows? It might be a nice change from the usual working class bohemians I always end up with. Colleen hugged her drink. An actual income and no current or past substance abuse problems. Why not? Sure, replied Skye uncertainly. That's it. That is the excerpt from The Rise and Fall of Skye Wright. Lord, could you imagine going out with that? All right. So that's it for this week. I'll be on the lookout for you guys' response to the hot topic for content creators. And if you guys think traditional publishing is obsolete in this day and age, and also be on the lookout for my community posts where I will be setting up a poll for which book that was featured during this live stream that you think has the most text appeal. And I will be seeing you guys next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good one.